What is up, guys? It's been a minute. It's Mekabre. We're back with another Destiny 2 video. Honestly, a lot longer of a break than I had anticipated taking, if I'm being completely honest. And I apologize, especially if you've been kind of tuning in to previous videos. And now you're like, "Oh, he's back! He's back!" Don't get your hopes up quite yet. I'm not exactly sure how much I'm going to be putting out videos. You see, I've just been really busy. I hope everyone's doing well because I myself have been doing very well. I've been busy in real life, I've been working quite a bit as of late, and just haven't had the time to crank out a video. And to be honest, there for a little while, I felt like I didn't even have the time to play in the first place. If I'm being completely honest, I took almost a full month off of Destiny 2, but more or less video games in general at one point during the summer. So, now that I'm back, kind of, I figured I better make a guide, some sort of video, and I feel like my guide videos usually do pretty well, but they're also some of the ones that I feel like I can relate to the best because however I usually feel about the game at the time is similar to how most other people feel in terms of like prepping for the next season. So, this guide in particular, as you may notice, is something that I probably will continue to do because it's just kind of turned into how I feel about D2 right now. So, welcome to the Lazy Player Prep Guide to Season 15. Now, let's jump into it. In this video, we're going to cover quite a few things, so be ready, take notes, whatever you got to do. Actually, why would you take notes? This is the Lazy Guide. You shouldn't need to. There's only five main things I want you to do in this guide, or five main things that I'm going to explain in this guide, okay? And not necessarily all five are things that you have to do for prep. Some are things that you could do even next season, and I'll get to that here in a second. But there are a few things that, even as a lazy player myself, I'm definitely going to be doing, and then there's some things that, if you're, maybe a little more outgoing, maybe a little more ready to put in work, well, I got some options for you. Let's jump into the very first thing, and that's wrap up this season. Now, there's a couple things in this category, so like I said, just sit down, take a break, maybe get a snack, because after all, we're lazy. We want some food. We want to be couch potatoes, right? That's the goal of life. But the very first thing is wrap up this season, and that one of the categories, like I said, that you could do even next season, but get some god rolls, or at least, one of each new weapon. There are a bunch of new weapons that came with Season 14, and maybe you were playing like crazy, as I did, when the season first came out. You were grinding, you got some good god rolls already. Awesome. Your job's almost half done for you. Just make sure you have at least one of each weapon. A lot of the new seasonal weapons were insane, and still are insane. And honestly, I think I love each and every one of them in their own respect, in their own perk columns. There's some that are just okay, but they're all have a spot in at least one activity. Okay, but beyond the seasonal weapons, we have a bunch of reissued weapons. All the moon weapons are now back, and all of the Dreaming City weapons are now back. Now you might be saying to me, Macabre, you're stupid. All of those weapons suck. And to that I say, you are mostly correct. And this is where I say, I don't recommend grinding a whole lot for these. There are very few of these weapons that I am truly excited to grab. I'm a big sniper, or at least I was. I haven't been sniping in a long time, to be honest. But of the two snipers that are coming back, Twilight Oath used to be my baby. And let me just say, I'm never going to use that sniper ever again. As for Tranquility, it's okay. The fusion rifle on the moon is also mediocre at best, but some people enjoy it for PvE activities, and I don't shame. It's a fusion rifle, do what you like to do. Now, beyond that, you have the shotgun, which was okay beforehand and is now not as great, but it's still a shotgun, so, We have the hand cannon, which honestly walked away the winner from the moon, Loud Lullaby, with some amazing perks as a 120. Highly recommend picking up one of those for the Crucible. You have the SMG, which once again is mediocre at best, but there are some perk combinations, and it is a Void SMG that is easily accessible and easily farmed. So if you're, in the market for a Void SMG, there you go. Beyond that, I'm sure there are other moon weapons that I'm forgetting. Perhaps Arc Logic is one that comes to mind. The auto rifle, which is fantastic, by the way, and has some decent perk options, but it did get more or less a nerf from what the options used to be. Moving over to the Dreaming City side of things, like I said, Twilight Oath is a piece of trash. Completely avoid it. Abide the Return, I absolutely say the same thing. To be honest, there's only two weapons, maybe three weapons from the Dreaming City that I would even waste time on at all. The first is the rocket launcher, and the only way you're going to want to get this is by doing the dungeon, because it can roll with Vorpal, and that's honestly pretty good for a rocket launcher, and it's arc, so might as well pick it up, right? Beyond that, the shotgun Retold Tale is a favorite right now in PvP, and honestly has some good perk combinations, and I would recommend picking up one of those as well. Now, past that, there's only one other weapon, and yes, it is a primary weapon, don't worry, but it's also a very good PvE primary weapon more than anything, and that is Overflow Frenzy. Yep, you guessed it, Tiger Spite. Highly recommend picking up some of those because they just truly are a blast. Now, there are a couple more weapons that were added. There's some more reissued weapons from year one. Of them, there's really only one that I'd recommend even coming close to picking up, and that's the you know, stochastic variable, I believe is the name of it. I honestly don't know because I don't know if I even have one myself. But supposedly it's pretty nice, so pick one up. Or don't, because it drops randomly, so you might not, even if you grind like crazy. Now, past that, there's a couple weapons that came with each activity. Some are good, some are bad. Some people say are good, and I say no, they're horrible. And then others I say are good, and everyone else says they're horrible. So, you know, pick and choose, do some activities. Maybe they'll drop, maybe you'll get one, maybe you'll get lucky and it'll be a god roll. Congrats. Past that, there's only three other weapons that you're going to want to look at getting, and well, by the time this guide's come out, you're going to have access to two. Yeah, that's right, two. Because I was too lazy to make this video earlier, so I apologize. But next season, guess what? You'll have access to these weapons again. And those weapons that I'm talking about are the Nightfall weapons. This week, as of when this video came out, is the Hung Jury Scout Rifle, and the following week should be the Uzume RR4 Sniper Rifle. Both weapons, absolutely amazing. I love them. Highly recommend that you pick up a roll, even if it's not adept. But if you can do a GM, get an adept one. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Now, let's move on. Past weapons. Oh, wait. No, not past weapons. Like I said, this is the lazy guide, and if I'm being completely honest, there's one more weapon that I forgot, but it is a complete and utter waste of your time. So if you don't want it, don't don't even try for it. And that is the ritual pinnacle whatever weapon, the fusion rifle. Pick it up from Banshee, try and work on the quest, or don't. It sucks. Don't recommend it. People go out of their way to say, "Oh my gosh, this is the best fusion rifle," but why? Why are you going to use a fusion rifle in PvE? And then in PvP, there are way better options than Old Composure. That's all I got to say. Now, you might be asking yourself, why do I need to get all these weapons? Well, to be honest, there's very few of these weapons that I would pick up myself. Unfortunately, I've already picked up almost all of them. But, but, the reason you should pick some of them up is because we got a bunch of new perks this past season, such as Heating Up, Firefly came back, Tunnel Vision, and loads more. Literally, loads more. So, possibly pick them up because of the perks. And if not, maybe it's like the VOG weapons. You want to get some weapon you had in Destiny 1? Go for it. They're also pretty good. So, there's another incentive. So that's what you need to wrap up this season. But there's one other part of this, and this is the second thing that I'm going to tell you to focus on, and this is one that even if you are a lazy player, I highly recommend you just crank out. It can be a pain, I know that, but just please tell me you're going to at least attempt it. And that's the story missions. The story missions this season, each came out on a weekly basis, are actually pretty darn good. They're not necessarily the most fun to play through because it's the same thing week after week after week, but the audio changes and you hear, interactions between different characters in this universe, and honestly, it helps make the whole storyline. It makes a lot more sense once you do all of them. So just do all of them. It's not that hard. It's not gonna take that long. It's just annoying to sit through it all. but just do it. Okay? That's the second thing you need to wrap up. Now let's move on to the third thing that I'm going to recommend you work on for this prep guide for season 15. And that's save what you want for next season. And specifically worded the way it's worded. Save what you want, not what people are telling you you should save. Because this is the lazy guide. So, for example, you could possibly save up bounties. Iron Banner was here last week. Maybe you haven't turned them in. Maybe don't turn them in. Be pinnacle drops next season. Or, or get this, you could turn them in. No one's gonna care. That's on you. Literally, you're the only one that's gonna care. You could also, go to the Cosmodrome, for example, talk to Shahan, pick up some crazy weekly bounties, save them, and be like, I'm loaded on XP. Wait till the start of next season. Or you don't have to. That's the thing. Save what you want. But the other one, and this one's super easy to save, even for lazy players, because as lazy players, we don't use enough of it in the first place. And those are just your general resources. Literally anything from Glimmer to your legendary shards, just save it. I mean, if there's stuff you need to buy at the end of the season to complete other stuff, or you're trying to get a god roll, or whatever the case may be, sure, spend it. But you could also save it. Then you don't have to go somewhere to spend it. Then you don't have to walk to that vendor, turn that in, whatever the case may be. We can save our resources even as lazy players. So I highly recommend saving up some of those. Now, fourth, and this is really just the last real one. There's one more after this, but we'll get to that in a second. But just review what's going on for the next season. And maybe that's reading the TWABs. Maybe that's watching Data's video. Maybe that's going in the comment section down below and saying, Mekabre, explain what the heck is going to happen next season. Hey, I'll make a video. Even just one person says that. I'm fine. Fine with that. But if no one says that, then I'm not going to do anything. But review the changes. I will tell you one big change, because I don't want to make a video too late and then you don't see it, and then you're like, yeah, but I commented and you didn't tell me this, and because I couldn't make a video fast enough. One big change, and this is one thing that even lazy players need to go do, is turn in those freaking 80,000 Vanguard tokens you have sitting at Zavala because you just don't like talking to the man. Yeah, I'm talking to you, and I'm pointing at my screen right now. It could be pointing right back at me. Hey, you don't know. All I'm saying is go turn in your Vanguard tokens, because they're going to disappear at the start of the next season. And that's free loot, free resources. It takes forever. It's super annoying to do. I hate that they don't just let us turn in all of them at once. That's BS. But turn in all 80,000 Vanguard tokens you have sitting around, okay? You'll thank me later. Maybe get a few god rolls in the process and make your life in the first step way easier. That's all I'm saying. Now, the very last thing, and like I said, not really a big thing, just enjoy the rest of this season. This season has been phenomenal. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of promises Bungie's made, but there's also been a lot of good additions. Whether it's just new weapons, whether it's the new Nightfall weapons, the reissuing of weapons, the way loot works, the way loot's dropping, whether it be trials has been for the season, or whether, Crucible hasn't been as toxic. I don't know. But just enjoy the rest of the season that we have, so that way, next season doesn't seem as bad. Because, not saying it's going to be bad, I need to correct myself there, but I feel like we all get this super high expectation at the end of a season that the next season's going to be so amazing. You watch the trailer, you're super excited. You play 1 week and you're like, yeah, this is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. So just enjoy the rest of this season while we have it. Once the next season gets here, it gets here. Sometime this upcoming week, we should be getting a quick trailer possibly for season 15. So check that out. It's okay to get excited about that stuff. But remember, you still got 2 weeks of this season, of season 14, season of the Splicer, left. So enjoy it, my friends. Now, with that, that's the end of this lazy player prep guide. I hope you guys took a nap while watching this. Honestly, that's how it should go. Not because I don't want you to watch my content, because that's who we are. We're the lazy players. So, if you enjoyed, please leave a like down below. Comment if you want to see more videos, because I don't know. Is there any interest in this game still? Is there any interest in my channel still? I couldn't tell you. I'm clueless. I'm too lazy to sit down and go to my own YouTube channel and look to see if anyone's been watching. So just tell me, please. Past that, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys truly do enjoy the rest of the season. And with that, if there's another video, I'll see you then. Until next time, peace. Peace? No, 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 no. I didn't mean peace. It's been a minute. I'm sorry. You gotta give me at least one shot, okay? I apologize. It's been too long. What I meant to say is get back to grinding, you crazy guardians.